Okay, so lesson 1 in microeconomics is the word scarcity, because economics is all related to scarcity. Ultimately, every resource we have on Earth is scarce. It's limited. We have only one planet to choose from at this point. So where I am here is in St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, where there's a scarcity of water. Of course, you can see there's lots of water right behind me, but that water is all salt water, so it's not really drinkable water. One of the problems with St. Thomas is there are no rivers, okay? A lot of the islands in the Caribbean have no rivers. So what they do in St. Thomas and many of the other islands is they collect their water in cisterns. Now, you might see a house way up in the on the cliff here. I could also be doing a lecture on the scarcity of land, okay? And you can see that house there. That house probably has, it definitely has a cistern. By law, they have to. A cistern is going to hold all sorts of water, like gotten off the roof, as an example. And the cistern is going to be probably, for a house that size, a small cistern is 12 feet by 12 feet by 9 feet high. So 12 by 12, 9, made of concrete, all waterproof, and it'll hold maybe 9 or 10,000 gallons of water at its maximum. So that's one of the things they do. Now, that water is not for drinking. That's for the toilet and showering and things like that. Their drinkable water has to come elsewhere. Okay, now, and that's what happens with scarcity, is there's a lot of things that we have to, you know, when you think about the scarcity of land here, there's only so many building lots on an island this size. So what's going to happen? Price is going to be the allocation unit, the way we're going to allocate whether or not you want this. Probably this scrub brush with no with no manageable walkable land is probably going to be over $100,000 for a building lot. You might get one in certain areas under $100,000, but that's just for the building lot. Then you got to build the cistern, and you got to build the septic tank, and you have to get electricity run in, which may potentially be already here, although I'm seeing some broken pipes there that makes me think that the electricity in this part may be limited. But in any event, camera person, okay. So with scarcity comes choices, okay? I choose to not live here because I don't want to buy a $100,000 piece of hill. So that's one of my choices. At $100,000, I'm out of the game. There are plenty of millionaires who might say $100,000 is a bargain. That's not me. So, so that's one of the ways we make choices in our life. You probably don't own a house on St. Thomas either, okay? Because that's the way we choose. Price becomes the discriminating factor. And so when it comes to water, there's alternatives to water. We can bring in water from other islands, but of course what we're going to end up doing is collecting the water on the roof, the cistern. We're also going to have some desalination plants that are going to take the ocean water and convert it to drinkable water. Look at that roof. Look at the channel that they're building here to collect all the rainwater to go into the cistern. You can see that very clearly. Yeah, gorgeous place right here on the southeast side of St. Thomas. You can see they've got the white plastic tubing for the collecting of the rainwater. The rebar that you see sticking up means that they're going to have another level up here, is what that means. That's preparing for an additional level, but you see the pipes going up, so yeah, they've already begun work on the next level of this house. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper to build one more floor than to try to turn this land into one more house. You'll notice here, because water is in short supply, look at the irrigation system that they've built here. They want these trees down on the lands to be alive, but they need water, so they have little pipes that they're using. This is probably, well, you can see this house is under construction here, or reconstruction, since it's post-hurricane, and so they're trying to get these trees to grow. So water scarce supply. You don't just sprinkle your whole lawn. You sprinkle only where you need that to be. Okay, what we're looking at here is the Water and Power Authority of St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. There's a big water desalination plant here. They've got huge tanks over here that will hold all the water. So this process here, they used to use a thermal process to desalinate water, and now they're using a reverse osmosis process. If you don't know much about that, well, neither do I. You'd have to Google it to find out exactly what happens here. But this is where they convert, and if you can see it off in the distance, the water from the Caribbean coming into this bay here, and they convert that to potable water. There are a few problems with it. The pipes from here to town are so bad that the potable water, the drinkable water, by the time it reaches town, it's been in all these old, ugly pipes with rust, and it's no longer really drinkable. So this island has a real problem when it comes to water, because everybody's drinking bottled water. There's the water delivery truck bringing fresh water up the street, but it's so tight around here that he can't front in. He's got no way to turn around, so he has to back his truck all the way around this hairpin curve to get to that house around the corner. So I'm just reading the daily news of the Virgin Islands. A couple of articles of interest. There's one here, St. Croix water system is slowly recovering. Seeing steady progress in the accumulation of drinking water in the Kingston Hill storage tank. The water level in the Kingston Hill tank stood at 6 feet on Monday, meaning the system had accumulated 2 feet of storage over the weekend. Officials used 7 feet as the minimum standard to provide uninterrupted service to all customers. It turns out that at full capacity they can have a 5 million gallon tank, and it's 45 feet. But they're down at the 6 foot level, so they're getting pretty low. And what happened, of course, on Thursday morning was that officials saw a run on the water system amid rumors of a water shortage, and the tank's capacity drained from 4 feet to 1 foot. So they heard rumors that there were problems, and everybody started stocking up on water, and made things even worse.